All right, welcome back to the Slingin in the South football podcast. The next topic we are going to go over is the key games in the SEC this fall. I will be ranking my 10 key games that will be most crucial in the Southeastern Conference. So at number 10, I have Ole Miss at Georgia. Lane Kiffin looks to beat Kirby Smart for a second year in a row, this time in Athens, Georgia. We will see how the Ole Miss Rebels do with new quarterback Austin Simmons and starting wide receiver Caden Lee, as he had 0 drops last year on 57 receptions. We're going to see how Georgia does this year. They have Gunnar Stockton, who is now the starting quarterback after taking over for Carson Beck. We got a glimpse of him last season, but he didn't necessarily shine like I thought he would, especially in the Texas game. Although Georgia did win against Texas, but he just didn't hit the switch. He didn't hit the switch. Georgia also got USC wide receiver transfer Zachariah Branch. He wasn't very utilized last year, so we're going to see how he does. At number 9, I have Texas A&M at Texas on November 28th in Austin, Texas. The Lone Star rivalry should be a great game. I expect it to be high scoring. Texas A&M, air raid offense. Texas pretty much I believe they run a spread or pro style. We're going to see how Arch Manning does this year. He had a pretty good season as a backup last year, almost passing for 1,000 yards. And yeah, not necessarily the team Ewers had last year, but I think Texas will be up there in the SEC. At number 8, we have Georgia at Auburn on October 11th at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. I expect this to be a close game. I also expect it to come down to the wire. I could potentially see an Auburn upset. I could see Auburn upsetting Georgia. If Georgia is still ranked in the top 10, I honestly am marking it as an upset. But honestly, I could see Auburn beating Georgia. I think Auburn is going to be a pretty slept-on team this year. They're going to upset a lot of people. Number 7, we have Alabama at Auburn, the Iron Bowl on November 29th, also at Jordan-Hare Stadium. This game is going to be similar to the Georgia game, in my opinion. I think these games will be pretty much close, down to the wire, if not in overtime. Auburn, I think, will do really well with Jackson Arnold as their quarterback. Cam Coleman at receiver and Eric Singleton Jr. at receiver. I think this Auburn team is going to be really well driven to do good. But I also think Bama is also going to be good because they have Ryan Williams returning. He's now 18 as a sophomore. Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback, and he fits the criteria as your traditional Alabama pro-style quarterback. He's not dual threat. I don't think he can run fast. In my comparison, he's going to be close to a A.J. McCarron type quarterback at Alabama. I think Bama is going to be pretty decent this year as well. Not necessarily what they were under Saban, but they will be pretty good. At number 6, we have, on October 4th, the Texas Longhorns travel to the Swamp as they would take on the Florida Gators. I expect this game to be pretty close. Arch Manning traveling to Florida for the first time. The Longhorns in the Swamp. I think it'll be pretty much similar to that Ole Miss Florida game last year. You could potentially see an upset, but I think it should be a pretty good game. Number 5, we have Georgia at Tennessee on September 13th. The Bulldogs of Georgia travel to Knoxville at Neyland Stadium as they take on the Tennessee Volunteers. This game is circled on my calendar, everybody's calendar. Should be circled on Tennessee and Georgia's calendar as a must-win game. This game, if Tennessee could upset Georgia, which I mean I could see happening. The fans are rowdy in Neyland. I could see this game being an upset. At number 4, we have LSU at Alabama on November 8th. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to be a pretty well-rounded quarterback this year, now that he's a senior. He has some pretty good receivers and running backs around him. Pretty good offense built around him from Brian Kelly. Although this game is at Bryant-Denny Stadium, this should be a close shootout between LSU and Alabama. At number 3, I have the Tennessee Volunteers traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. This should be a pretty good game. I may have missed something on here. Excuse me. If not, I forgot to mention Oklahoma at LSU is also on my top 10. On November 29th, as the Oklahoma Sooners will travel to Death Valley to take on the LSU Tigers. I think this game will be a shootout. This game should be circled as probably one of the best SEC games of the season. You're going to see John Materi go up against Garrett Nussmeier. Similar play style. We are going to see who is the better quarterback in this one. At number 2, I have Alabama at Georgia. As you know, this game was close last year. Ryan Williams with the walk-off touchdown sealed the deal. Although Georgia made the playoffs and Alabama didn't. They finished 9-3. Although I think this game is going to be pretty much similar to last year. Although I don't think Bama's going to blow out Georgia in the first half completely. I think it'll be close, down to the wire from first and fourth quarter. And this game is on September 27th in Athens, Georgia. At number 1, I have the Texas Longhorns going to Athens, Georgia to take on the Georgia Bulldogs on November 15th. This is my number 1 ranked game of the season. Preseason. Anything can change, but I think this will be the best game you'll see in the Southeastern Conference. So yeah, those are my top 10 key games that teams must play well in throughout the SEC season.